and gentlemen, we welcome you back to another episode of All Access with the Profs. I am Gerasimus Gervas-Leo, and next to me is, of course, Leo West. And if you were looking for a show filled with fun, laughter, and the biggest Rowan Prof experts in the universe, well, you came to the right place.
I mean, in the whole universe. Some really high praise, but I feel our cast and crew is most certainly up to the challenge, Gerasimus. But it's really got me thinking, what if there's another Rowan University in another universe on another planet?
Well, a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, I am sure there's another Rowan University out there, Leo, but I might need the Millennium Falcon to get there, which would require I might need a little bit of a paycheck to get a Millennium Falcon, but that's besides the point.
Yeah, you might need that, but coming up, we got Skylar Sweeney. She's reporting live from the Profs Nest with baseball. We got Athlete of the Week with downtown Luke Brown, and one of our producers, Logan Stewart, interviews Eagles legendary broadcaster Merrill Reese.
Rowan entered the week on a 7-game winning streak after sweeping Saturday's home doubleheader against Ramapo to start NJAC play. Today, the Profs welcome John Jay to the Nest, where Skylar Sweeney is standing by to report on this afternoon's ball game. What's happening, Skylar?
Hey, Skylar, go.
Good guy. Thanks, guys. I'm Skylar Sweeney reporting live at the baseball stadium, where the Profs just wrapped up their matchup against John Jay. It was a tight game at the start, but the Profs pulled out the win 8-3. We saw some big hits from Evan the coach, Jason Scully, which gave them the momentum they needed. It's been a full team effort at the plate for Rowan, and on the mound, things got kept under control early on in the game. The Profs improved their record to 13-2 on the season. I'm Skylar Sweeney reporting with All Access with the Profs, sending it over to Tape Talk with Mason.
Thanks, Skylar. Welcome back to Tape Talk here on All Access with the Profs. I'm your host, Mason Kenahan. The Rowan baseball team swept Ramapo over the weekend, including walking off the first game of Saturday's doubleheader. In the top of the ninth, freshman pitcher Nick Watson was put into a difficult position when he faced a bases-loaded, no-outs jam. But in only 9 pitches, the freshman let up only 1 run and helped open the door for the Profs to walk it off in the bottom of the inning. What led to Watson's success on the mound? Well, let's dive into the tape and find out. Again, Watson gets put in a pretty difficult position. Bases loaded, no outs, top of the ninth. His team is up by 1, but things could get out of hand pretty quickly if he doesn't lock in here. So he's going to get the first out via a sac fly, which isn't terrible. Again, the bases are loaded, so it's going to bring in a run. But Mason Dorsey's able to pick up this fly out to center field and send this home. Dorsey's throw is a little bit off target, plus a little bit too far from the plate to get it in time as the Ramapo runner gets in pretty safely while standing up. But it's 1 out for Rowan. 5 pitches later, Watson's going to get his second out of the inning. He's going to check this runner at second base, make sure he isn't going to do anything sneaky here. But then he's going to send in this nasty breaking ball to this batter. You'll see this thing drops immediately way outside of the zone and short as well. This hits about plate level in the dirt. Somehow, this Ramapo batter bites on this breaking ball. He tries to check his swing. It doesn't work. He's not there in time. The ump calls him out. That's out number 2 for the freshman. And finally, for out number 3, again, once more, runners on first and second, 2 outs. Rowan trying not to lose this lead here in the top of the ninth. Watson's pitch is going to go up and inside on this fastball. It's going to jam the Ramapo batter, send this one straight into the air. Kyle Lamentier is going to come in, and in a situation like this, it's not always easy to make routine plays on pop-ups, but Lamentier gets the job done and gives the Profs a chance to walk it off in the bottom of the ninth. That'll do it for this week's segment of Tape Talk here on All Access with the Profs. I've been your host, Mason Kenahan, and now let's send it back to the studio.
Great stuff, Mason. Softball finally came home this past weekend to start NJAC play against the Montclair State Redhawks. To see if the Profs can start off on the right foot, it's Jake Clark with more.
Thanks, guys. Rowan softball ended their out-of-conference schedule and opened up their NJAC play over this past week. The Profs' last 2 out-of-conference games this season were on the road against number 25th ranked Eastern University in a doubleheader this past Wednesday. The team split the doubleheader, with Rowan losing Game 1 4-2, and the Profs took Game 2 in 6 innings, winning 8-0. Beth Ann Doderer earned the win in the circle, pitching 6 innings in the shutout victory. The Profs then began their conference play with their official home opener against the Montclair State Redhawks. Rowan swept the doubleheader, winning Game 1 8-2 and Game 2 2-0. Abigail Pulowski led the offense for Rowan in Game 1, going 2 for 3 with 2 RBIs. In Game 2, Emily McCutcheon recorded 5 strikeouts in 7 innings of work in the win. Rowan softball has been red hot as of late, winning 12 of their last 13 games played. The Profs now have an overall record of 17-5 on the season and are a perfect 2-0 in conference play. Rowan is currently taking on the Stockton Ospreys here this evening. From the Rowan softball complex, I'm Jake Clark, sending it back to the studio.
Thanks, Jake. Stay tuned for Jacob Michaud's Magic Minute, where he will reveal the secrets behind Rowan softball's tricks. The outdoor track and field season is officially underway as the men's and women's squads competed in the Danny Curran Invitational at Widener over the weekend. With the latest on 2 groups destined to build off nationally recognized indoor campaigns, who else but Aiden Ray?
Thanks, guys. The Rowan men's and women's outdoor track and field teams both competed at the Danny Curran Invitational at Widener University this weekend. Both teams were able to get some good results in the books. Starting off with the men's team, who are coming off their indoor national championship, Colin Patterson was 16th in the 5K meters with a time of 15:03:03. In the 10,000 meters, Anthony Fost and Sean Heiss produced PR times respectively. Some good results for the men's team. Moving over to the women's team, who also had some great things happen back in the indoor season, Shannon Stakelbeck ran her fastest outdoor time in the 5K meters with a time of 17:45:8. where she placed 7th and jumped into the number 24 Division III spot. Naila Munson hit 10.51 meters in the triple jump, which puts her in the top 5 in the NJAC rankings. Good results for the women's team. Up next for both track and field teams, they will compete in the Embry-Riddle Running Elements Classic in Daytona Beach and the Ursinus Spring Fest on Ursinus College's campus. This is Aiden Ray, your Rowan track and field reporter here on All Access with the Profs, and we will send it right back to the studio.
Great work, Aiden. Lacrosse played one of their biggest games this past Wednesday against 13th-ranked Franklin and Marshall. The Profs are currently on a 3-game win streak, and to see if they pushed it to 4, Jordan Weisinger has the latest.
We're here at the finish of Rowan women's lacrosse. They get the win 13-9 over Catholic. They have now back-to-back wins in the last 2 games, coming off a big one against nationally ranked Franklin and Marshall, and today they get the win 13-9, winning the shot game, which means you get more scoring opportunities. They scored 7 goals in the second period, and they really never looked back, winning with that 4-goal differential. Madison Rothwine scored 5 goals in the win, as well as Fiona Lockhart scoring 4, including her 100th of her career. Rowan will now take on Christopher Newport on Saturday, who are also nationally ranked, currently 13th in the nation in D3 women's lacrosse. I'm Jordan Weisinger at the Rowan Soccer and Lacrosse Complex. Now let's send it to Luke Brown for this week's edition of Athlete of the Week.
Here with RTN's All Access Athlete of the Week on the women's lacrosse field, it is Elena Corson, a senior on attack for Rowan women's lacrosse. And Elena, we call this Athlete of the Week, but it's more a culmination of the work that you've put in all season. So far on the year, you have scored 54 points. That's pretty darn good. So to be able to kind of look at the record books a little bit and see where you stand, you are the second leading all-time scorer and goal scorer for this program. How do you stay committed to just keeping your job in front of you, I guess?
Honestly, to keep my job in front of me, I would kind of just say, like, yeah, it's in the back of my head that, like, I'm in the record books, whatever, but, like, it's kind of just going out every game with the mindset of winning. And, you know, the work I put in during games, you know, the goals I scored, it's kind of just like, I want to win first, and if it comes, it comes, and that's great, but that's how I keep it in front of me.
Talk about winning games. You guys have done a lot of that lately. Franklin and Marshall on the road, most notably. That was a huge win during last year's season. They were the 4th-ranked team in the country at that point. To go on the road and beat them again, how much did it take out of this group?
Honestly, it was awesome. Going there was a little, the bus ride, you know, just being there, but we also were down like 4-1 in the first quarter, you know, and I think that's something just we worked on all season, coming back from games like these and just staying in the game and not putting your head down, you know, after they got up a couple goals like that. But honestly, I think it was just a great team win, and I look forward to more of those this season.
It's no secret that this program schedule's tough. You guys have voted pretty solid out of the start here with wins over Stevenson, Franklin, and Marshall. So in terms of your strength of schedule, how hard is it to be able to get wins? And, you know, you guys have had to battle through losses as well.
Yeah, I definitely think it's tough to get those wins, but I definitely think that's what we need to face if we want to go where we say we want to go, which is NCAA tournament. We went to the Sweet 16 last year, and, Wesleyan, they're ranked top 10, and I think when we saw them last year, we weren't expecting it. So to face tough opponents during, the middle of our season is great for that.
In terms of the trip to Nashville, the team bonding opportunities that you guys had there, how fun was that trip?
Oh, it was so much fun. I really just think every spring break, it just brings us together as a team. We're all living together in one space, and then winning together too. It's just awesome.
Best line dancer on the team?
Best line dancer on the team. I'm going to have to say either Tegan or Lily.
All right, All Access Athlete of the Week, Elena Corson, who's having a heck of a season for Rowan Women's Lacrosse. Back to you guys.
Excellent stuff, Luke. And women's lacrosse, besides the individual success of Elena Corson, is on a great run right now. They have won 5 games in a row, including that win against Catholic Gerasmos, like Jordan said. But what do you make of this team?
I'll tell you what, not only is this team great at playing lacrosse, but from what I saw in that little Athlete of the Week segment from the great Luke Brown, we got some dancers. I got to figure out the secret. Is it the dancing that gets them rolling? I got to find out here.
Well, of course, a dual sport athlete, maybe a tri-sport athlete if we include line dancing in there as well, too. Something to keep note of, too. But baseball is also on a really, really good run, too. They just defeated John Jay, as Skylar let us know as well, too. So, you're the beat reporter for that team. What do you think?
Oh, it's phenomenal. 8 straight wins. I did talk to Coach Dixon after the game. He was not too pleased with giving up more hits than they had themselves, but overall a big day for the Profs and a big day for Evan McCoach as well, who really showed up in a big moment today in that bottom of the 6th to get things rolling for the Profs, right, Leo?
Yeah, the freshmen are just incredible on this baseball team, and they've been doing it all season long, and they will continue to do it for another 3 years. Can you believe that?
Yeah. Colin Matier's been great. Evan McCoach basically a freshman considering he didn't really play last year, but as a sophomore now, transferring from Rutgers, he's done great. But the Profs, they're rolling. They are rolling, Leo.
They are rolling.
But with that, we got to cut the break. But after the break, we have the moment you've been waiting for. Mel Reese joins the show. That's right, Mel Reese. Keegan Thompson will also take you around the NJAC, and get ready for another week of Owen Caldwell's calendar segment. We'll be back after a few messages.
Hate is loud. It gets clicks. It gets attention. Hate, however, is actually quite small. But love is the majority. Love fills our hearts, our lives, our everyday.
Welcome back to All Access with the Profs. Hopefully you didn't forget our names. I'm Drosmus Vasiliou. That's Leo West. But there is a name you can't ignore. Last week, 2 legends crossed paths. One being our producer, Logan Stewart. Yeah, that's right, he is a legend. And the other being a Philadelphia Eagles radio broadcaster entering his 50th. That's right, 5-0, 50th season.
That's right, Gerasmos. Now, without further ado, here's Logan Stewart with Merrill Reese.
Please give a warm welcome to the one and only Merrill Reese.
On Monday, March 23rd, Eagles radio voice of almost half a century, Merrill Reese, visited Rowan University at Pizza with the Pros to answer questions from students in the sports communication and media major.
Has retirement ever crossed your mind?
I hate that word.
I'm sorry.
I hate that word. I will never retire. They will have to remove me with a crane. I'm not going. I love when a mother comes up to me with a little kid who's about 4 and she says, he's going to take your job one day. I get very defensive. I'm not leaving.
The legendary voice of the Birds spoke with our producer, Logan Stewart.
Thanks, guys. Eagles radio legend Merrill Reese joining us here on All Access with the Profs. Merrill, thank you so much for joining us today. So you've had so many iconic calls in your career with the Eagles. Has there been one call where you say, that one's going to stick with me forever?
Well, only because I hear it so much, and that is the end of Super Bowl 52.
Has there ever been a moment in your career where there's been something chaotic happening in the box that fans would have no idea about?
Yes. There is always a lot of things. There are always a lot of things that go on behind the scenes. There was a time in Pittsburgh many, many years ago doing a preseason game, and we had a statistician named Jack Edelstein who was kind of a practical joker. Now, when the national anthem comes up, we do what is called Bury the National Anthem. It's 90 seconds, so you go back to the station and they play 3 30-second spots. But if the national anthem is going long, or the national anthem singer or singers are going long, and you come back and the national anthem is still being performed, you have an obligation to say that's the national anthem and tell who performed it. Well, we're in Pittsburgh, and there's a group singing the national anthem, and we come back and we keep quiet while the group finishes. But before we come back, I see that it's going to be still the national anthem singer, so I yell to the producer, quick, get me the national anthem singers. And they went back, and it's on a rundown sheet, and they hand me a piece of paper, and I didn't know it was Jack Edelstein who put it on the piece of paper. And without thinking, I said, that's the national anthem here at Three Rivers Stadium as performed by, and then I read, the Pennsylvania Home for the Criminally Insane Glee Club. I didn't realize I said that. I go into the starting lineups, and suddenly in my mind I hear, did I say the Pennsylvania Home for the Criminally Insane Glee Club? And I started to laugh, and they had to break away and do a couple of spots until I came back.
Wow, that's a great
There's
story.
always stuff that goes on.
What was it like storytelling those two Super Bowl teams?
Oh, the entire season was great. I mean, you knew midway through both seasons that this was a special team, that these were great teams. So you felt that unless something broke down, that you were going to have a great shot. So you know.
Yeah. And if you had to pick one team to win, who would it be, the 2017 Eagles or the 2024 Eagles in a matchup?
Well, I would have to say that the team that won Super Bowl 59 was the best Eagles team in modern history. Wow. Yes.
There you have it. Coming from the legend himself, Merrill Reese, thank you so much for joining us here on All Access with the Profs. On All Access with the Profs, we really appreciate you. Thank you.
My pleasure.
Great stuff, Logan. And how about that? Merrill Reese right here on Rowan University. I think you were also featured in that little presentation they did as well, too. That's really, really cool. I mean, you know, I'm not an Eagles fan, but I have massive, massive respect for such a legend, not only in Philadelphia, but just of the game in general.
As you should, Leo, and I'm going to have to cancel my plans. I actually was going to, order a crane to kind of take Merrill Reese out of there so maybe we could jump in the booth, but unfortunately that isn't going to cut it. That isn't going to cut it for Mr. Merrill Reese, but it's now time to mark your calendars because Owen Caldwell has all the upcoming Rowan games and contests at the ready. Owen, the calendar is yours.
How's it going, everyone? My name is Owen Caldwell, and we are back for another calendar segment here on All Access with the Profs. Today is the last day of March. Can you believe it? Well, after discussing games that wrapped up March on last week's episode, it's time to start looking at the April schedule. Let's get right into it. Beginning on Wednesday, April 1st, there are a ton of games on this day. April Fools, there are actually no events set to take place. So let's move on to Thursday. Baseball, currently ranked number 7 in the nation according to D3Baseball.com, will host Stockton here in Glassboro at 3:30 p.m. in the first game of a home-and-home with the Ospreys. Friday is a very busy day in the world of Rowan athletics. We will start with men's and women's outdoor track and field, with the men's team being ranked number 8 in the nation in the latest USTF CCCA Track and Field Rating Index. Some profs will head to Daytona Beach, Florida to take part in the Embry-Riddle Running Elements Classic. Action for that is slated to start at noon on Friday, as it says right here. Also on this day, Softball, ranked number 14 in the nation according to the NFCA, will travel up to Union, New Jersey for a doubleheader against the Cane Cougars. These games are scheduled to take place at 1 and 3 p.m. While some members of outdoor track and field will be in Florida, others will find themselves in Collegeville, Pennsylvania, participating in the Ursinus Spring Fest. That is scheduled to begin at 2 p.m. for both teams. Our final event on Friday features the completion of baseball's home and home against Stockton. This game will be in Galloway, New Jersey, set to start at 3:30 p.m. Next, we head into Saturday. Action continues for men's and women's outdoor track and field on this day at the Embry-Riddle Running Elements Classic. That is set to start at 9 a.m. as it says right here from Daytona Beach, Florida. Meanwhile, some members of both teams will once again be in Collegeville, Pennsylvania for day number 2 of the Ursinus Spring Fest. Action for that is scheduled to begin at 10 a.m. And we're not done with track and field talk just yet. Certain members of the women's outdoor team will be in Princeton, New Jersey for the Sam Howell Invitational. This is also scheduled for 10 a.m. Next up, baseball will travel to Montclair, New Jersey for a doubleheader with the Redhawks. These games are slated for 11:30 a.m. and 2:30 p.m. Finally, women's lacrosse, ranked number 15 in the nation by the IWLCA on their latest poll, will host number 22 Christopher Newport at noon. With nothing scheduled for Sunday, we move to Monday. There is one event scheduled for this day, and it's another baseball game. The Profs will return home to take on York College of Pennsylvania with first pitch at 3:30 p.m. Finally, it's on to Tuesday. Softball is back in action as Rowan will head to Ewing, New Jersey for a 2:30 and 4:30 p.m. doubleheader, as it says right here, against TCNJ. That wraps up the events on the calendar for this upcoming week. For my game of the week this week, I am highlighting women's lacrosse against Christopher Newport. This is the middle game of a 3-game homestand for the Profs, featuring 2 top 25 teams. The only other time that Rowan hosted Christopher Newport was back in April of 2024, when the Profs suffered an 8-goal loss. Down in Newport News, Virginia, Rowan has had a 2-goal win as well as a 2-goal loss. We'll see how the Profs are able to do this weekend, taking on the captains back in the borough. Also, senior Elena Corson is closing in on the all-time goal-scoring record for women's lacrosse here at Rowan. How many goals will she score this Saturday? We will see on that as well. Sam Prince and Greg Mazzo will now have more on this upcoming game. This has been another edition of the calendar segment here on All Access with the Profs. Guys, take it away.
Thank you, Owen. Welcome back to Primetime Preview. I'm Sam Prince, and alongside me, of course, is Greg Mazzo. The number 15th ranked Rowan women's lacrosse team will be back in action on Sunday versus Christopher Newport after their 13-9 victory today versus Catholic. But Elena Corson for the Profs is off to a great start, leading the team in goals, assists, and points. But Greg, who else should the Profs fans be looking out for this Saturday?
Well, there's 2 players that I want to point out. It's Alexis Lowry and Madison Rothwine. We just saw Rothwine come off a 5-goal game against Catholic just today, and when you look at this Profs team, they are completely top-heavy. They have 6 players with at least 11 goals or more this season, so they're going to have to use that scoring against Christopher Newport this upcoming Saturday, who are a top 25 team in the country.
And you talk about Christopher Newport being a top 25 team. They're, to be exact, they're number 22 of the country. They've already beat 2 top 25 teams in the country, being Franklin and Marshall and Stevens this year.
Yeah, and the reason why those are big wins is because they're going to have to use that for games down the stretch of the season. You know, if Rowan wants to get into the NCAA tournament, those are going to be teams that they're going to be seeing, and that's why when you play those teams early in the season, it's going to help for games that they play against Christopher Newport this Saturday. So that is huge. And also, not to mention, they played Scranton, who was also a top 25 team in the country. They only lost by 1 goal against them. So they not only win these games or they lose these games, but they lose them competitively, and that's a good sign.
And you talk about this earlier in the win against Catholic. They were down 2-0 in the first period within the first couple minutes. And they came back and, well, it was never looking back for the Profs. That just shows the resilience from this team.
It shows the resilience, and it also shows how hot they are right now, because this team has now won 5 in a row, and that's the momentum that this team needs to have at this point in the stretch, especially when NJAC play is approaching, and in this game against Christopher Newport this upcoming Saturday.
Well, let's see how hot the Profs can be this Saturday, as they can possibly go on a 6-game win streak. And that'll do it us for this week for Primetime Preview. Keegan Thompson is now going to take us around the conference.
Right. Left. 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 Right.
Programs.
Yeah, I mean, these are two teams, Leo, that last year went neck and neck in the NJAC. Were both the two lone NJAC participants in the College World Series last year, and both these teams are destined to go back. So I cannot wait for those teams to play each other at some point in the season, because that's basically going to be the battle for the NJAC, and those two teams have the potential to go back once again to the College World Series.
I mean, at least for the regular season title, that's what it's going to be right there. Because Rowan right now 13-2 on the season, Kane 17-4. I mean, those teams are right at neck and neck. It's going to be a close race, and we'll be following it all season long.
We absolutely are, but before we kind of see that matchup, first we have to go back to some Rowan softball stuff, and I think Jacob Michaud, there's some magic in the air. I think I got to cut it to Jacob Michaud right now. What do you got, Jacob?
Thank you very much, Gerasimos. Welcome back to my Magic Minute. Got a quick one today, but I bet you that one of Beth Van Doder's innings from Sunday might still end up being quicker. But speaking of that, what a Sunday that it was for Rowan softball, especially when it came to the pitching. You know, as they say, defense wins championships, and softball really showed that could be the case on Sunday. Beth Van Doder really set the tone with a remarkable game one where she completed the game and surrendered no earned runs. She also punched out 10. And what was really magical about it was her fast pacing between pitches, which really kept Montclair State at bay. And then the southpaw Emily McCutcheon followed suit in game 2, in a game where the Profs really needed it as they were only able to plate home 2 runs. McCutcheon also went complete, giving up no runs and only 5 hits. She did a fantastic job with mixing pitches, and her location was phenomenal. This 1-2 punch that the Profs have is truly a force to be reckoned with. Let's throw things now over to Jake Kitchen, who has you covered with the weekly sports news. Take it away, Jake.
Superb analysis as always, Jacob. Welcome back, everyone, to Weekly Sports News. This past week, we were treated to an opening day for the MLB and some stunning finishes in the Elite 8 games of March Madness. So let's hop right into it. Opening night was on Wednesday as the New York Yankees faced off against the San Francisco Giants. The Yankees came up on top, winning 7-0, and went on to sweep the Giants in a 3-game series. Then on Thursday, we had opening day, where 11 games took place. The game I want to highlight the most was about 40 minutes from Rowan, the Philadelphia Phillies versus the Texas Rangers. Christopher Sanchez was on the mound for the Phillies, and he had an opening day to remember. Sanchez went 6 full innings, allowing only 3 hits, 0 earned runs, and recording a dominant 10 strikeouts. On the offensive side, Kyle Schwarber picked up right where he left off last season, hitting an opposite field Schwarber bomb on just the 4th pitch he saw. The Phillies won this one 5-3, and it was truly an all-around team effort. One aspect of opening day that made headlines was the start of the ABS challenge system. This new system allows a batter, catcher, or pitcher to challenge the call of a pitch, and a computerized system determines whether it was truly a ball or a strike. So far, 54% of those challenges have been successful, which is not a great look for the umpires. These challenges could be huge once the postseason arrives, but again, we still have 160 games to go until then. Now let's head over to the hardwood as the Elite 8 games took place, and the Final Four is now set for both the men's and women's tournaments. Starting off with the women's side, all 4 of the number 1 seeds are still alive, with UConn taking on South Carolina and UCLA facing off against Texas. All 4 of the Elite 8 games ended in dominance from each one of these teams, with the closest game being UCLA beating Duke 70-58. The largest margin of victory was Texas steamrolling Michigan 77-41. It's going to be an exciting finish to this one. Now let's send it over to the men's side, where Arizona, UConn, Michigan, and Illinois all advanced to the Final Four. Out of those teams, only 1 game was decided by single digits in the Elite 8, and that was UConn versus Duke. If you haven't seen the ending of that game, you must be living under a rock with Patrick Starr. UConn, who was down 19 points late in the first half, clawed their way back and took the lead when freshman Braylon Mullins got a steal and hit a logo 3 with 0.3 seconds left to take down the number 1 seeded Duke. Prior to that game, number 1 seeds were 134-0 in tournament history when leading by 15 or more points at halftime. That record is now 134-1. It's March, baby. But that's it from me. Again, I am Jake Kitchen, and I will see you all next week for more weekly sports news. I hope you all have a great Easter. Now let's send it back over to Gerasimos and Leo.
I mean, you want to talk about March Madness. UConn, oh my goodness me, that was March Madness. Braylon Mullins, I mean, the freshman too, he's from Indiana. Did you know that, Gerasimos?
I did not.
And he's going to play Final Four basketball back in his home state for a team that's been to the Final Four 3 out of the last 4 years.
Hey, he wanted to go home. He had to work for it, all right? He hit that crazy shot. I have never seen anything like that in my life. I mean, they say this is March, right? I mean, it is still March for at least today. So we'll hope. I'm sure UConn hopes the magic continues going into April.
And to confound on the madness, too, he was 0 for 4 going into that shot, too. Takes the 40-footer and drills it. I mean, it doesn't get crazier than that. That's like up there with the Jordan Poole, Chris Jenkins shots that we'll see in those montages and one shining moment like going forward, too. But professional basketball, how are we doing?
You know, the Sixers, they're getting better, okay? Everyone's healthy now. I'm liking how everyone's getting healthy. We're in a playoff push, right? The Philadelphia 76ers. Joel Embiid is my guy still, man. I went to the game last Wednesday. Dude dropped 35 like it was nothing. Like, this guy, when healthy, gives the Sixers a chance to go far.
All right, what about the Union?
The Union? Well, here's the good news with the Union. They didn't play this week, so they didn't have to disappoint me this week. But they do play this Saturday against Charlotte FC, and we're probably going to lose that. But if we lose 6 games in a row, I'm going to be very, very, very not happy.
He might not even be on the show next week. That's how mad he is. That is how bad he is, too. But on some more positive news, I was actually privileged enough to go to Philly's opening day last Thursday, which was a lot of fun. That's for sure, too. It was nice to just have baseball be back again, you know, just enjoying the nice weather, too, the sunshine, and, of course, the Phillies win.
Oh, you got to see my guy Justin Crawford, who's going to win NL Rookie of the Year this year, and also Andrew Painter's pitching right now. He looks like he's doing okay for himself. So the Phillies got some excitement, Leo.
I mean, you know, the NL rookie race is going to be in between Crawford and Painter, too. But, again, it was a great time.
Well, we could talk all day about the Phillies, hopefully making it to the World Series again for the first time since 2022. But that is going to do it for today's show. For our entire hardworking crew and, of course, my great co-host, Leo West, I'm Gerasimus Gervasiliou. And as always, go Profs!
Left.